Yo, what's good? In this video, I'm going to go over why you need a unique mechanism for your offer, right? Your coaching offer isn't failing because you're charging too much or because of the economy, right? Or some other bullshit like that. It's it's failing because you're selling the exact same thing as every other coach in your niche and you need a unique mechanism, right? Which is the point of this video. And I'm going to go over and explain why it is that you need one and also how you go about making one for yourself, right? So this is you, right? This is everyone else. You're both selling the exact same thing and you go broke because of it, right? Because if everyone's selling the same thing, like it's going to cap out eventually. Not everyone can sell the same thing, right? And that's the same with your offers. If all these guys are selling e-com and you're selling the exact same e-com offer, well, this is how you'll end up, right? So you need to engineer an offer that is unique so that you can charge premium prices without getting endless price objections. You need to be like this guy here in green, right? You need to stand out. Okay? So, the commodity trap. If your pitch is I help people lose weight or I teach you how to trade, you're right there in the queue with every other coach and guru. And that's what the commodity trap is, right? It's just teaching the exact same thing or trying to sell the exact same product as everybody else. There is no differentiation in your offer. So what happens when there's no differentiation is that prospects just shop around and there is no competitive moat, right? There's no competitive moat around what you're selling. It's not competitive. People can just come in, see what it is, and then fuck off, go do the exact same as somebody else, right? So that's why having a unique mechanism is like a fucking locked vault. Only you have it. So what actually is a unique mechanism, right? A unique mechanism is a specific named process for getting results that no one else can claim. It's not just what you do, it's how you do it and why exactly it works. And it's what makes you fucking different from everybody else. So, and to be clear, it's not some generic shit like my proven system or the ultimate method, right? You just fucking get a load of this guy. It's a load of shit, right? That's not what you're teaching. No one gives a fuck about that because it's completely generic. Strong mechanisms need to sound specific and credible. So there's three types of mechanisms, right? So you've got the proprietary process. This is a legitimate step-by-step system that's genuinely different. It's a process you can get anywhere else. It's a process you can't get anywhere else, sorry. So what this does is it builds a named framework. It makes it clear to your prospects that they literally cannot get this process anywhere else, right? So you're essentially putting a name to what it is that you do unique within your business model to get from where you are when you started to where you are now. That process is your proprietary process. You put a name on that. No one else can claim it because it is what you do and what you solely do, right? You've then got the unspoken mechanism. This is where everybody does it, but no one talks about it. And you're the first person to slap a name on it, right? This creates a lot of authority because anyone else who tries to put a name on it, even if they've always done it, they just now look like they're copying you. You know what I mean? So let's say, for example, everyone trades with this like one specific indicator. It's super in trading, right? Everyone trades with this one very specific indicator, but you're the first person to put a name on using that indicator. And now that's essentially, you've put a name on it, you own it. Anyone else who tries to put a name on using this, now they just look like they're copying you, right? So it builds a lot of authority around you because even though you might not have been the first person to use this, you might have actually learned it from somebody else. But because you've put a name on it, it now looks like you've created it, essentially. It looks like you came up with it. Everyone else, it now just looks like they're copying you. And then the other way is called the transform mechanism, right? This is taking something ordinary and making it extraordinary through naming it. So skipping meals is an example, right? Skipping meals is fucking ordinary. But when you start calling it intermittent fasting, it's now scientific. And that's all that is. Intermittent fasting is just skipping meals and fasting for the beginning of your day, or for 8 hours of your day, or whatever the fuck it is. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. But if you tell someone who's fat and they're trying to lose weight, if you say, oh, maybe you should just skip some meals, they're going to take it with offense. It's not going to work. But if you go to them, oh, you should try intermittent fasting, they're going to be like, oh, what the fuck's that? That's fucking great. Like, oh, I might try this intermittent fasting, but you're just telling them to not eat less. You're just telling them to eat less, right? That's literally it. Yeah, it's the exact same behavior, but it's a total different perception, just like I've explained there, right? So they're the three different types of mechanisms that you can base your unique mechanism around, and one of these is probably the one that you're using right now. You just need to figure out which one it is. So that's the first step. Figure out which mechanism it is that you're using currently. Now you need to actually build your unique mechanism. So first, we need to map your process. Write down what it is that you do to get results in whatever niche or business or whatever niche you're in, right? So if it's fitness, whatever the fuck, you need to write down from beginning, from fat to skinny, what is it that you do to get the person from A to Z, or what is it that you did to get yourself from A to Z, right? Once you've done that, we need to find your difference. So look at the map. So when we did the map and we figured out point A to point B, along this map we need to find and ask ourselves, what do I do that others don't, and what do I emphasize that others ignore, right? So using fitness as an example, right? You might teach someone how to get fit in an hour workout. You might do kettlebell workouts, for example, where you emphasize heavily on high intensity, where other people don't, right? So you focus on a lot more high intensity training, and people ignore the high intensity part. They just think that they're just teaching how to swing a fucking kettlebell around, but you're actually teaching how to do it with intensity, right? So there's one difference that you've got. What do you do that others don't? Again, so you've got the high intensity thing. Another thing that you might do is you might not only, like they might only be teaching how to use kettlebells to lose weight, you might be teaching how to use kettlebells, but you also have a separate warm-up process. So you don't go straight into the kettlebells and start swinging them straight away. You go for a 1 kilometer run. So there's another difference, right? You have a 1 kilometer run and then you focus on high intensity with the kettlebells. That's what your differences are. Then you need to name it, right? The name needs to be specific enough to be credible, but it needs to be vague enough to create curiosity, right? So for example, I've got here the nutrition reset protocol. It's specific, so you're going to be resetting with nutrition, and that's like what the protocol is, right? But it's vague enough because what exactly is it with nutrition that we're resetting? So it's good, right? It's ownable. Just calling something the protocol is generic and unownable. Anyone can call their thing the protocol because that is what it is, right? And don't make it overcomplicated, like the quantum fucking the quantum nutrition body transformation protocol, right? It just sounds fake and made up. It sounds like something that fucking 10-year-olds would come up with, right? So yeah, so don't overcomplicate it, but at the same time, it needs to be specific and credible, right? So not complicated, but not too vague, right? It needs a sweet spot in the middle, that sweet spot in the middle, right? And then you need to build a story around it. So you need a backstory. You need to explain why you created it, what problem it solves specifically, and why it works when others fail. If you can't build a case for why your way is superior, it's not real and it's not going to work and people aren't going to buy it. So let's go back to that one that I said earlier about the differences with the fitness one, right? You do a 1K run and you're doing high intensity kettlebells, right? Where other people are just doing normal workouts. So when you're explaining your story, you can explain how you were fat as fuck and you started losing weight, but you didn't like doing full gym sessions, so you wanted to do it quickly, and you knew that by doing weights and cardio you lost weight. So you used to warm up with a 1K run and then you did 30-minute high intensity workouts. So that's your story, and that's how you got from fat to fit in 90 days or something, right? And that's the backstory behind why you created it, right? And that'll resonate with a lot of people because one, it's the same as them. They don't want to go to the gym. They might be too insecure to go to the gym, and they might not have a lot of time in their day. So high intensity works out well. And as well. Like they might want to start running or something. You never know, right? So this is why you need to build a story around it, because people buy from people and people love a story, right? And then you need to talk about what problem it specifically solves, right? It solves the fatness problem, it helps you get fit, and it solves a time problem as well because it's high intensity 30-minute workouts. And it also solves the problem of people who are too scared to go to the gym because they can do it at home, they just need a kettlebell. And then again, that ties into why it's superior, right? It's superior because you don't need to go to the gym, you can do it from the comfort of your own home, and it only takes 30 minutes. So do you understand like how this works now? How that's so much better than just saying I help you lose weight, or my process is we'll start doing a workout every day. Like no shit, right? You need a story behind everything. So once you've done this, it becomes central to everything. It should be in your marketing and you lead with it as the mechanism. So instead of saying, like I just said then, instead of saying I help people do X, you say I use unique mechanism to help target audience achieve goal or do whatever it is they want to do. So I use what's the unique mechanism? The nutrition reset protocol to help middle-aged mothers achieve their goal, which is eat better, eat more, eat healthier, and therefore lose weight, right? So I use the nutrition protocol to help middle-aged mothers lose weight and eat better. So much better than just saying I help people lose weight, right? So I assume you should understand like how this works, right? So, and then as well, on sales calls, you position it as the key differentiator. So they realize the reason they haven't succeeded yet is simply because they haven't used your specific your specific mechanism. So for example, when you're on the sales call with this 30-year-old mother or this middle-aged mother or whatever it is, you might say, oh, so have you tried anything like this before? And she might be like, oh yeah, I've tried it. I tried doing this other nutrition program. It didn't work. It didn't work because of X reason or Y reason, or I didn't have enough time to implement it, or I've got like the kids I need to look after, so I fell out of it. And then you might be like, oh yeah, okay, well the difference with the nutrition protocol is that it can be done in 20 minutes. So now you see how that like is a key differentiator, how like now by adding that name to it, it makes it look like, oh, no wonder I haven't succeeded. I haven't tried this protocol yet. This protocol, I wonder what it must be. It must be so different than everything else I've tried. So that's how it works, right? So yeah, the next step is having a unique mechanism is the literal difference between having a commodity and being the only choice for your ICP. So again, going back to that, if you have a key differentiator and you are like completely different from your competitors just by having this name, you become that only choice, right? They've tried other nutrition programs, and now that you've come out with this nutrition protocol, it makes it sound like it's a new thing completely and that's something that they'll have never seen before, when in reality it's just a program on how you eat better. So then it positions itself as, oh, this must be the only thing that'll work because it's the only thing I haven't heard of, right? And that's pretty much it for the unique mechanism. But here's the reality, right? Having a unique mechanism is great, but you still need to build the entire sales funnel. The sales infrastructure, you need to build the entire funnel and the sales infrastructure around it, or you need to set up automated nurture sequences, and you need to actually manage a team on the back end. And this takes a fuck ton of time and knowledge, right, that you probably don't have. So if you've got an audience and a skill, or you just want to have, and you don't have the time to monetize it, or you've tried and are trying and need help scaling, I will run your entire offer, right? So that includes the setter and closer scripts, post-booking nurture flows, the sales call frameworks, and the full launch playbook. I will hire and manage the sales team. So that's setters, DM setters, dialers, closers, the entire team, I will manage it. Funnels and automation. Full done for you funnel building. Email, SMS automations built into your funnel. Tagging pipeline and basic dashboards so you can see your leads, calls, sales, everything. We will track every single metric, right? Your traffic and your content, traffic, and ads, right? That includes your content planning, CTA strategy, ad creatives, quick post story sequences. Your full creative directory will all be done by me, right? So if that sounds interesting and you want to partner up and work together, book a call below.